with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Well, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus, also nicknamed the Zoo. It's 1:05 right now, and it's the 21st of December. Thanks for joining us today. 39 degrees outside, a little cloudy, a little sun from time to time filtering through the mid and upper level clouds. We got a full rundown on the forecast. I know a lot of people are wondering what traveling conditions are going to be like as we head into Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the day after Christmas, and what's around the corner for the New Year's weekend and the beginning of January. Lots of fun things weather-wise to talk about. If you have questions about the weather, you want to call in, feel free to do so on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. Or emails, weatherorag@flagfamily.com. As always, our live comment box is available on the live streams on Facebook and YouTube Live as well. I got Dean Wysocki with me and Ag Director Bridgette Readel here as well.
You're the only guy without headgear.
I'm the only one without headgear. I got my fake horns on. They're all wearing candy cane antlers and Santa hats and bows. And
It's feeling festive.
Mm-hmm. I missed the memo.
Also, I was going to push back on the nicknaming of the zoo. I don't know if that comes from you or a listener. And I would have pushed back, except Dean and I both came in wearing stuff on our heads like reindeer. And then Santa came early and replaced my tiny pig for my Fisher-Price barn.
Santa,
Santa's a great guy.
Nice. And a great memory, too.
Thank you, Santa. So, and it's like...
Maybe he found those in the field.
Maybe, because there's white ears and black ears on these little pigs, but the pigs are back.
Didn't know that there were two different kinds, actually.
You know what? They multiplied in that field. I lost one, got two.
Bingo. See?
Wow.
Think what that could
Hey,
have done
when you're
for our
out there,
soybeans.
what does that even mean?
It's cold. They had to keep warm.
No. It was
the one had to keep warm with itself. Somehow two came out of one.
Yeah, wait a minute. How does that happen?
I'm trying to think in my mind, what does this mean?
It's not livestock day, you guys. I don't have to explain this stuff again.
Are they part rabbit?
Good Lord, have mercy. So no, but
That's
I do.
wildly inappropriate.
Yeah. So I got the pigs back. So for all the listeners who have been asking, where are they? They have arrived. Thank you, Santa.
Wow, it really is a zoo in here then. We got pigs and goats and Tasmanian devils.
That was yesterday.
Some deer, elves, Santa's here.
Yeah.
And our guest is here as well in studio.
Who has looked at us
Gets
and said,
to put up with this.
It's like the week of Christmas, you guys are kind of out of hand, huh?
You guys are great.
So our guest today who's joining us is Chris Shea. Chris is with Swanson Equipment here in town. And Bobcat is a big part of their business. We want to talk about that. And because Bobcat on the farm, it's not just the one that goes rawr. It's the other Bobcat.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
There's a lot of them around here.
There's a lot of them around.
And they can be put to good use for, I've seen them removing snow, too.
Oh, they have. And that Bobcat is different than the Steiger Cougar that we have. That can still be a Christmas gift for you to put under the tree.
Not too late. Yep.
And still get those orders in. Go to our website, click on the Hot Links button, and you can place those orders with Lamar's Toy Store in Lamar's, Iowa. This is the Steiger Cougar 4. It's the KM280. It is the 132nd size in the iconic Steiger green color. There's only 150 of them. They are sequentially numbered, so you can call in and get your favorite. They have duals and a 3-point hitch. And every carpet farmer, as well as toy collector, should have one in their collection. Mm-hmm. So please make those orders. It's a pretty nifty
little tractor. It's cool. We got a couple under the desk in the office. And
hence the carpet farming in the weather office.
They're nice little tractors.
No, there was a couple under the desk in the...
Indeed, there were at one point. Now there is.
I think one
singular.
One went to Sterling and one went to Bentley.
Now hold on.
I think
if we keep those tractors and we keep the toy pigs, I mean, really, the farm is a growing in the weather office at any point in time.
All sorts of things.
Tractors, pigs, the whole 9 yards. But how is the weather, gentlemen? Because I think we should have some concerns. It is
Where's
Christmas.
my rain, Dean?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's going to be. Boy, a little bit of everything coming our way as we head into the holiday weekend. I know, not great news for travelers. Enjoy the next few days. We could have record highs close to them today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Just amazing 3 days. We're 39 right now. Expected to hit 41. The record is 42, so close boy, just not seeing enough sunshine, just some filtered sunshine out there. It is breezy with those winds out of the southeast gusting to 30. Overnight tonight, we're dropping down into the upper 20s and near 30 with some fog developing. And Friday, partly to mostly cloudy, much lighter winds. And highs in the low 40s. The record tomorrow is 43. We could be looking at mid-40s on Saturday with the record being 46. And then Christmas Eve is going to be a possible messy situation around here.
An air duct. Oh, my God. Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait. Everybody calm down.
Milk, bread, eggs.
I'm on my way.
Yeah,
As soon
let
as
me
we're done.
find that one.
It's not going to be that bad, but it will pose some travel problems, I'm sure, around here. As we hit into Christmas Eve, we'll see either a rain-snow mix changing to snow or a freezing rain-snow mix changing over to snow on Christmas Eve, and that could pose some problems. It's way too early to put amounts on snowfall, but we could see an inch, possibly a little bit more, to grease up those roadways. We'll see this out of here by Monday morning. So Christmas morning looks quiet, and then Christmas night, the second piece of this storm wraps up into the central plains. We'll be right on the northern end of that, and that is going to be a big wind maker, and mainly rain from Lakes Country southward. You go north of Lakes Country here into the FM area, we could be right on the northern end of either a freezing rain or freezing rain snow mix event. Yeah.
I'm looking at you.
I know.
I have some questions.
That would be Monday night, Christmas night. So the storm's coming in two pieces, Christmas Eve, and then the second piece coming, and that'll be mainly south. The second piece will be mainly south. That'll be Christmas
Gotta get
night.
the bread and milk.
Okay.
I gotta get the bread and
I'm
milk.
going to the store after this. Thank you,
I gotta
Justin.
get the bread and milk.
I will pick that all up.
I gotta get the bread and milk.
Okay, so when you say we could break some records, how far back are we going? Is this the 30-year average I argue with all the time?
The record today is from 79. I believe the record on either Friday or Saturday is from 1899.
Ooh,
Yeah, 18.99 on Friday and Saturday.
And Saturday? Okay. Yeah, so
yes.
big wins.
that goes way back.
That
Yeah.
does.
So that just shows you how out of whack this weather is here. It's we've been lucky, and again, this isn't the storm of the century, but again, if the model's trend have been further north. If that continues, we could be looking at something a little more significant than we originally were planning on. But either way, we're going to have some messy travel around our area and point southwestward or west from here.
Now, as someone who wants to participate in agronomy on ice in February, I would love to see a little bit of freezing temperature. I need to see some ice buildup.
I know.
Right now, haven't quite seen it. But if I'm building a new farm shop, if I have some construction projects going on, holy cow, this is the longest run you have had into December in quite some time to get work done.
Like we were talking the other day, this is great for livestock and
Yeah.
a lot of the farmers like this. But again, this is, it might be good now. This does not bode well for spring and summer. It
At this point, it does not. But it does tie into one of our headlines today in ag and in regarding feeding, because you're right. First of all, we're able to keep them out on corn stalks longer, right? So you maybe don't have all your cattle spread out everywhere. They're probably closer to the yard. And if you've got standing corn, likely not, or you have corn stalks, cattle are out grazing. So that's kind of free ranging, right? They can chew on cobs. There's leftover corn on the ground. You don't have to spend as much money on hay, which is a good thing, because didn't we just talk last week why beef prices haven't come down due to input cost? Now, if you're supplementing that corn, which many are doing by putting hay bales out, spread them around in the fields, because you don't want to continue to feed in just the one same spot. A couple of reasons. Spreading them around in the fields means that spreads that natural green manure fertilizer all around to different areas. Okay, so it's not highly concentrated in one spot.
No piles.
No piles. Cattle also have a tendency to compact the soil where they're at all the time. And so later in the spring, if it is dry, it would be harder to pull tillage tools, planters, etc., through that compacted soil. But if you spread it around, cows go other places.
Yeah, and I know Gary's going to finalize the LRC here over the next, if you're a paying customer, over the next, I think after the first week in January, he's going to have
my checks in the mail.
He's going to have the final outlook for the spring and summer, and he gave kind of a tease to it on his latest video, and it doesn't look good for the Northern Plains. It just doesn't. Yeah.
We need snow. There is an old proverb that this was from the German Russians always talked about it. You need winter to make summer. So you have
do.
to have those change of seasons here to make that work.
Yeah.
We'll see if that comes true.
Yeah.
If not, I will be going back to the old home country, if you will, behind the Iron Curtain and having a talk with some of those elders and all of their wise proverbs.
Right.
But when I do, then my accent comes back. And it's...
What accent is that?
So if you grew up in McIntosh County, first of all, I barely made the height requirement to get out. Okay? Because there's a lot of short, square people there.
I would have been screwed.
I will show you the picture of my grandmother's, folks. Nobody was smiling because nobody was happy. And realistically, if I go home, it comes back in a heartbeat, that whole German brogue. Because then you sound like Mrs. Nitschke, and she grew up in Chud, and she used to buy all her cars from Little Chimney Weber Ford and Fishik, and that she was really into caning, and so I bought some caning jars from her, and this lady probably visited with me for a couple of hours. It was great.
Okay, now do Canada. I want you to do Canada so hard that I don't even know what you're saying.
I would need to watch the Red Green Show episodes back to back before I could pick that up. So
We head up there and go hunting for the old Wendigo.
sorry.
Must be a story behind that.
Took me by surprise there, Justin. I will
You
be
didn't
going.
see that coming out?
I will be in Canada right after the New Year. What's the LRC say for somewhere around January 10th, guys?
Oh, probably stormy since you're going up there.
Actually, that's about the time we embark on our January thaw, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, towards mid-month.
Perfect. Here
Yeah.
we go.
Hi
Okay.
there, caller. What's your name? Hello?
Hello.
I think they just hung up. Goodbye.
Caller must have been like, nope, don't want to get involved in that.
Wrong
Wait,
call.
this ain't
Did
the
someone
Jay
say
Thomas
Wendigo?
All right. Well, hopefully caller comes back because you can on the Red Wing Shoe phone line at 701-293-9000. Love to hear from you. But more importantly, we'd love to hear from our guest. Chris Shea with Swanson Equipment is going to join us. When we come back, we're going to visit all about bobcats and how much fun they are to have here in this region.
Cool.
Be right back.
Livestock markets mixed to lower as we wrap up trade on Thursday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen with this market update. Well, as we work throughout the day, it's been fairly quiet in cattle and hogs until we got into the afternoon. We've seen a few more losses kind of creep in here to both live and feeder cattle futures as we look to wrap up Thursday's session. Moderate pressure really just kind of sinking into the trade here as we gotten into the midday and afternoon. Just increased softness developing. Few traders are actively involved in the market here ahead of the holiday weekend. And lean hog futures continuing to erode as traders are trying to better pinpoint just where the upcoming hogs and pigs report will position the expected short and long-term pork production levels in the new year. We have that report coming up Friday after the close. We also have the cattle on feed report, and that's giving us plenty of uncertainty just as how to these expected report findings can be factored into the market or not. The week between Christmas and New Year's typically shows very limited trade volume, so there could be some added volatility on limited volume. It's something we'll have to see when markets reopen Tuesday morning after we get those reports in. We look at beef cutouts at midday. Those are up in choice, 228 higher, 291.41. Select was up 70, 262.30 per hundredweight. Cash cattle trade remains pretty quiet here into Thursday afternoon. Meantime, pork cutout values, those are down 89 cents at 80.33 as we look at the midday number. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home? And you feel like you have nowhere to turn for help? Then we have good news for you. Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. That's all they do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-926-1701. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, Foreclosure Protection Services can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home. Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-926-1701. 800-926-1701. That's 800-926-1701.
As we take a look at the trade here in livestock, cattle, and hogs, want to look at the feeder cattle index. That's up 40 at last check, 220.31. Lean hog index up 17, 66.54. February hogs up 37, 70, 60. January feeders down 132, 222, 72. And December live cattle 32 higher, 170, 35. This is the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome to WDAY. Thank you for joining us. Merry Christmas week. We are having a very good time. Thank you for my barn door noise because for those who just tuned in, the pigs are back. Not only
are back.
Santa brought me not only one pig for my Fisher Price barn that we lost out in the field this summer during Here We Grow, he brought me two.
Who told him you were good?
Who told him I was good?
Who told him you were good?
Nobody told him I wasn't.
Valid point.
Doesn't he see all?
I literally have a t-shirt that says nice until proven not. I will be wearing that tomorrow.
Awesome.
While we're on air. Okay. But our guest today came in and is just observing with great chaos. And that would be Chris Shea. Chris is with Swanson Equipment. And I really wanted Chris to come in to talk about Bobcat because they're probably sort of a big part of your business in this region, would you say?
They are, very much so.
So tell us a little bit about Swanson Equipment and your business here in town or the region, perhaps.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the invite. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. So a little bit about Swanson. We are a fourth generation company. We are in our 93rd year of business right now. We're planning our 95th Christmas party as well as Swanson party and then the big 100 year. So we're pretty pumped up about what we got going on over there. We're in 4 locations. We're in Alexandria, Minnesota, Fergus Falls, Minnesota, Minot, North Dakota, and of course right here in Fargo.
And when I think of Bobcat, I associate that with the farm. But I'm going to guess that's not necessarily what everybody else thinks about with Bobcat at Swanson Equipment.
You know, agriculture is a piece of our business for sure. It's not the biggest piece. Just general construction landscape is by far the largest market for Bobcat and for really all compact equipment. But and part of it is there's 20 contractors per one farmer.
Yeah.
So there's just it's mathematics. But ag has always been a piece of our business, and we actually just cleaned up with the Mindac sugar beet harvest, and we supplied a bunch of units there. We tag teamed that with another dealer. There's always somebody that wants to talk about equipment when you go to visit on the farm, whether it's yours or someone else's. Equipment is always a conversation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it is. So let's back up a little bit into the history and your familiarity with that, where Bobcat originated from and where it's gone today. If you want to do that, or if you want me to give a little background on how the Bobcat really got started as a skid steer.
I would be curious to see what you say.
Okay, let's compare notes.
Okay.
Okay, so the Kelleher brothers were farmers. They had turkey barns at Rosse, Minnesota. Stop me if I'm getting this wrong, Chris. And they wanted a better way to clean out their turkey barn because they didn't have a Dean Wysocki and a shovel. So they decided to start something mechanical. The original ones were 3 wheels. They did not have a cab, but they did have the loader bucket in the front. And it was such an impressive piece of equipment, other farmers wanted them built for them. Now, I'm a little fuzzy on the transition on how this got to be part of the Melrose business family down at Gwinner, but eventually it was acquired by them, and that was the start of that big business in the Gwinner-Foreman area. Would I be correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So
Okay.
Cy and Louis Keller.
There we go.
Yeah, so they started, and they started with the M200. It's a 3-wheel that had a caster wheel in the back, and it was to find something that was very small, very agile, and can turn on a dime and get in and clean something. So a bucket as well as manure fork. Those were the original attachments. And I just learned this not that long ago. And I've been around the Bobcat world for almost 27 years now. When the 3-wheel machine came out, they approached Bobcat. Bobcat approached them. And it was, we can sell these things. They're small, they're compact, we can sell them. And Bobcat and the Melrose boys says, okay, we can do this. Let's get an order together. Let's figure something out. They didn't sell.
What?
And, yeah, they didn't sell. There was many of them that were around. There was 1 and 2 here and there. And it went back to the Kellers, and they said, well, we need a 4-wheel drive. We need 4 wheels. We need 4-wheel drive. That will sell. We need to figure it out. And at the time, Bobcat said, yeah, we're out. We're not going to order anymore. We're done. And the Kellers built the 4-wheel drive and released this 4-wheel drive. And Bobcat said, we're back in. This thing works. So I may have a couple of those little facts.
Sure.
Not entirely accurate, but that was the gist of it. And that was the start of it. Gwinner, North Dakota, that's where everything took place. And they still are manufacturing out of that facility today. They expand quite a bit. And just within the last couple of years, they put on a huge expansion. And I mean, we're cranking out machines that would boggle your mind, the volume and the industry units that are out there. That for those small skid steer, track loader, mini excavator units, we're talking hundreds of thousands of industry units that are out. It's crazy.
And how much of that goes to ag?
You know, for us, it's a very small percentage, and it would be struggling to reach 10%. Yeah. In some areas, that's all they have is ag. So their markets are flooded with agriculture, and without agriculture, you know, whether it's beef cattle, dairy cattle, or just crop production, there's a lot of different.
Yeah, they were the leader. The brothers, the Keller brothers, they have recently been inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because this was their farm innovation, and they are one of many around here. If you think about Steiger, Wilrich down at Wahpeton, Bobcat, the Wysocki disc, those are all big brand names that came from this region and really were the advent of so many other things. When you look at the skid steers from Bobcat, they were the first ones, and then everybody else wanted a skid steer too, all the major brands. But these guys have it down. They have that popular item that everybody wants to be a part of. And whether it's agricultural, industrial, et cetera, they are the benchmark that people go with. Yeah. It's impressive.
Yeah.
So agriculturally speaking, I recently saw a poll on Twitter, so it's totally official. And what's your favorite piece of equipment on the farm? And literally from a farm perspective, it was their skid steer or their forklifts. And that's where you guys play ball, right? Right, Chris?
Yeah.
Those are
for sure.
big pieces that people want.
Yeah. There's catchphrases and slogans all over. The very first, still the very best. You know, all these different things that are out there. For agriculture, a skid steer is a non-revenue generating piece of equipment. That combine, that's what's making you money.
Right.
All the other equipment is making you money. The skid steer is a convenience piece. So when they're operating Bobcat, it's because they want it.
Yes.
Not because they have to have it.
Frankly, I want one too.
That would be fun.
Well, they come in the mini compact size. Like it can go through a doorway to get into a building to do work. Who doesn't want that?
Right.
Well, it'll fit in our office, you guys.
We can keep one as a pet.
Hadn't thought about that, but now I am.
You know what? They got the self-driving stuff. We'll just program it to, kind of take a little lap around the office and sit down by its dish.
We can see if it will. Before we have our 1:30 time frame here, I wanted to ask a couple of other things. First, as you've watched over the years, Chris, from the time you've got 27 years in business with Swanston and watching the Bobcat evolve, what's changed in those years just since you've been part of that?
Holy smokes. Many different series, upgrades, different models. But probably the things that stand out the most is the computers that are available today, and the way you can operate a piece of equipment. We have autonomous vehicles that run around. We can operate vehicles from a cell phone. We can crane a machine into a barge and have them unload corn or grains or whatever it may be. But the stuff that is really impressive is the innovation. Bobcat has never taken their foot off the gas with that. They're doing things that are so far in front of where we are today that it's really impressive. And it keeps dealers like us, the entire dealer body, we're made up of roughly 350 dealerships that occupy approximately 750 locations. So what we see that is continual improvement to not only the performance of the machine and the durability and the quality, but how they're manufactured. So they're taking everything into account where we want we want people to be able to work an 8-hour shift and not be tired, not have their back sore.
Yeah.
So when they're designing something, it's how do we do that from a standing upright position versus bending over or standing on your head? And the change, we just talked about this. So I had a board meeting before I came over today. And Mike Swanston, who is our third generation, he sold to his daughter, Molly Swanston. We talked about the old days and what equipment costs. And you guys would be floored at the equipment that I would sell, 25, 26, 27 years ago, what that costs today. It's amazing.
Okay, we're going to want to ask that. It is 1:30. We are going to touch base with sponsors and news. We will be right back because, Chris, I want to hear what that price difference and so forth has been. We'll be right back.
The Aspire Optical Company. As we close out 2023, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for your continued support and trust with all your vision care needs. It's in this spirit that we provide a relaxed yet professional atmosphere for our clients, where finding that perfect pair of eyewear is a truly enjoyable experience. This month, shop with us and take 50% off your frame with lens purchase. Perfect for those with HSA and FSA benefits. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the entire Aspire Optical family. Aspire Optical, eyewear like you've never seen.
Santa's favorite stop every Christmas is Lamar's Toy Store in Lamar's, Iowa. For a huge selection of pedal tractors, precision and show tractors, they do customization better than anyone. Call 712-546-4305. A short 90-minute drive from Sioux Falls in Northwest Iowa. Call them at 712-546-4305. Open 9 to 4 Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Saturday. Call ahead if you're coming from a long distance and they'll be there to meet you at Lamar's Toy Store, Lamar's, Iowa. For a gift that'll give for generations.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. Additional charges have been filed against Ian Kramer for an incident at the Sanford Health Emergency Room in Bismarck, which preceded the police chase that ended with the death of a Mercer County deputy. Kramer got in the driver's seat of an SUV his mother had been driving and reversed it through the metal overhead door of the emergency room's ambulance garage. Authorities say Kramer caused more than $12,000 in damage. He's now also charged with theft, criminal mischief, and reckless endangerment. The Rape and Abuse Crisis Center of the Red River Valley says they're seeing more people every year, and 2023 is no exception.
We'll see right around 3,200 people a year every year. Those are unduplicated folks. Our coalition on the Minnesota side is seeing higher numbers than they have in the last decade. This is the second highest number on record since they started compiling this report.
Chris Johnson also says they're seeing more events that look similar to torture. And the 2024 Minnesota Ice Festival has been canceled due to warmer winter weather. Organizers say warmer temperatures affect the stability of the ice structures and create safety concerns. Meteorologists predict temperatures will be well above average for the next week or so. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
We've got Brian in studio from Collins and Cronk Raymond James.
Brian, I was visiting with my girlfriend the other day, and she's just a few years from retirement. She was wondering if she can still retire if there's a recession just around the corner.
This is why planning is so important. When Collins and Cronk does a financial plan for you, we look at several different scenarios. We consider the positives or the good times as well as the bad. What if there is a recession? We do the math so we can answer your questions with confidence. We want to help you make smart decisions like when to retire or what investments to use.
Whether it's a recession or an economic boom, Collins and Cronk can help you make the right decisions. If you have $500,000 or more, call Collins and Cronk in Fargo today. 701-235-0119, 701-235-0119. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Collins and Cronk is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Love is all around during the 2023 Subaru Share the Love event. By the end of this, our 16th year, Subaru will have donated over $285 million to charity, like the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish, Meals on Wheels America, and the National Park Foundation. And Muscatel Subaru is also proud to support Fraser Limited right here in the Valley. Visit muscatelsubaru.com for more details.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Sorry about that. Headphones hang-ups. Didn't know I had this much headgear on today, and I can't get my headphones on without wrecking my candy canes.
Check that iced tea of yours, ma'am.
Again?
Look, I left that other bottle in the weather office.
Because it was empty.
That wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
Sure. I mean, hey, everybody needs a little eggnog in their life. So today we have a guest with us. That is Chris Shea. He's in studio. Chris is with Swanston Equipment, and we're talking about Bobcats, the skid steer market, and we know it has a tremendous relationship to ag. And just before we left, Chris was mentioning the evolution of just pricing, right? And we get it because we all understand where interest rates are. We know that what inflation has done. But if you think back to when you were first starting, Chris, to where things have gone today, a little bit of a markup perhaps?
Oh my gosh, yeah. The price of everything, the price of milk, bread, fuel.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just everything. And you do that over, roughly 25 years. But I can remember selling the very first track loader that our dealership got. And a track loader is a tool that almost every landscaper is running today. Every contractor's run them. You can use them wet, dry, soft, muddy.
Sure. Just
doesn't matter. You can take a track loader wherever you want. But the same comparable unit that I was selling for $28,000 is now all of a sudden $100,000.
Oh, that's true.
It's just, but you know what? Look from COVID, from March of 2020 forward, that alone represents a giant price increase. You could not get, no one could get any components, steel, the computers, the chips, you name it. And Bobcat honestly did a pretty good job at finding the way and mitigating that entire process. And we're in pretty good shape today. We've got a lot of inventory.
Okay, so is the used market as strong? Because for a long time there, if I would talk to Machine Repeat about the used market, whether it was with semi-tractors for on-farm, combines were pretty high, self-propelled sprayers. Has that been the case as well with skid steers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So a lot of dealerships like ours, we run rental fleets, and we run big rental fleets.
We can rent some, you guys. We'll keep one in the office.
We park it next to the pigs.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Rental fleets, they're an absorption department that really helps the entire organization. And when we hit March of 2020, and all this equipment was, you can't get it. You can't get stuff fast enough. So if you went to try to order even a car, it was 12 months, 18 months. Everything was just kicked way out there. So we made a plan right away that we're not going to move our rental fleet. We're going to keep it there versus selling that off. So that alone was rising the value of used equipment.
Sure.
Auctions, I can point you to auctions that were bringing more money for used equipment than what they were worth.
Oh, yeah.
And, dealers like us, we go to auctions and we buy good quality used pieces of equipment off of lease or whatever they may be. Well, during that time, you just couldn't do it. You couldn't find anything. So used pricing was through the roof. It was great. It's stabilized.
Okay.
It has come down. The demand has fallen a little bit as well.
Oh, really?
So as we see all this equipment, you go around any yard now and you'll see a fair amount of equipment in everybody's yard, new or used.
Okay.
And the demand has fallen off a little bit. And it for a while it looked a little artificial, like all manufacturing caught up to where you can get whatever you want. It caught up to a point, but when you couple that with demand falling off a little bit, it gives you this feeling that, okay, everything's back to normal. And it's still off. It's still off a little bit.
And Bridgette and I were talking in the office, and she was telling me you guys have a electric version coming out, or already is out.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's called the T7X. It is out. The electric unit, the very first time we were able to operate it, it was really cool. It was very quiet, scary quiet. And that whole unit had roughly 5 ounces of fluid in the entire machine.
Okay, and I remember reading that stat. It is so much less fluid.
Yeah.
And I said in the office, I said 25%, but it's even less than that. If you only have 5 ounces in an entire
very,
machine.
very small.
Now, how's that going to work in the cold climate up here, though?
That's a great question, and I think that we're.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah, I think we're.
Dean gets one of those a week.
I get one a month, so thank you.
Might be the first one ever.
I think we're still trying to figure that one out. And when, quite honestly, when you take anything electric in our geographic area, it just the life cycle, the lifespan, the runtime, everything, has impact on the cold. But pretty cool machine for different applications.
So, tell us a little bit about this machine. Like, what is it? How big is it? What can it do? What are I guess in my mind, I'm trying to get a visualization of what this thing actually looks like. Is it just like a little drone, or is it a big, full-size machine?
If you had two T770s sitting in your parking lot, and one was electric and one was a conventional, you would not know the difference.
Looks just like any other Bobcat.
It's the same frame. It's the same booms.
Same size.
It's a lot of the same everything, except for cylinders are different because they're electric. Everything is electric to move things around. So when you open the tailgate, that's where the big difference is. You got a giant battery versus an engine.
Mm-hmm. So is it more expensive than the conventional one?
Substantially, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do they think that's going to sell them, especially up here in the colder climate?
I need to be careful with my next comment here because I want to make sure that I'm not feeding the wrong information. But I think the market that we're going to see and experience is going to be driven federally or by state, saying, state of North Dakota, you've got X amount of projects going on. X percent of that needs to be alternative. And
right.
X percent needs to be electric.
That makes sense.
So unless you're in an environment that it could be harmful to be running exhaust or to have something that in the diesel world, we have regeneration. You can't afford to have something regenerate in a certain dusty
environment,
paper mill,
situation.
anything. Yeah. So there's applications for sure. There comes a cost with that.
Sure.
And the cost is substantially more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're not getting that one.
No.
No. Dean's credit's still hurting from the big
summer?
loan we took. Well, the credit's doing fine, but he's still got quite a bit on loan.
We got some payments. When we did our Here We Grow project this summer, we custom farmed 20 acres of soybeans, and Justin and I were left to our own devices one day when it came to borrowing money with one of our sponsors, Dakota
They
Bank.
stole my credit card.
Well, whatever.
Just call it thievery.
You call it what you want.
Social security number. It's identity theft.
Well, he wasn't using it right then.
Yeah, we did him a solid. We got his credit score up.
Yeah.
So, okay, attachments. There is a long line of items that can go with your Bobcat.
Yeah.
Whether they're on farm or in farm. Do you have kind of off the top of your head some of those most popular items that go out the door regularly?
I will do a terrible job at this. There are so many. There was a point in time when we were kind of counting how many we had, and we stopped at 400.
Holy cow.
There was so many. And anything that you could ever want to do, there's an attachment for it. Whether you're literally cutting down trees, you're mulching down to ground level, below ground level, pouring concrete. We have concrete pumps, concrete mixers, tiller, just absolutely anything you could imagine.
It's super cool.
We've got it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And quite honestly, there's a lot of times where someone will come in with a need.
Mm-hmm.
That need may not be to own a skid steer or own a track machine, but they need an attachment, and they end up buying
everything.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And then you can choose from wheels or tracks or any of those items too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now they all have cabs and are like comfort cabs. It's not like you're freezing to death in there because there's no glass, etc. They have heat.
Climate control.
Climate control.
Wow.
That's
pressurized, nice and warm, nice and cool. Comfortable. In suspension ride seats, you can get in and it's fun to operate.
I would like one with a tiny backhoe. I don't know that we need it around here, but wouldn't it be fun?
We find use for it.
All right.
we got a whole field right back there.
Yeah, I don't think
It's
they're
like a big
using that.
sandbox.
So let's just enjoy that part of it.
Sure, why not?
So folks can stop by your site. There's no doubt, Chris. And all right, they walk in and they don't know what they need. Where do you even start?
We ask a lot of questions.
Sure.
What do you want to do? How much property do you have? Would you like to own or would you like to rent? Because we do have a rental fleet and we have leasing options. So we have a great team in every location. When you walk into one of our facilities, you're greeted by somebody, and we like to have a lot of fun. And we do a lot of scaring too. So we got great scare cam stuff. So if you're a customer walking in and you look like your heart can handle it, we might scare you as well. But we start with, you know what, just like this.
This radio program is about to start that type of situation.
There you go.
Man,
scare a lot of people,
just when you thought you called it the zoo earlier, we're on track.
It's a zoo. It's a kind of zoo.
All right, attachments, equipment, etc. Where would they come and find you, Chris, both physically or digitally?
For sure, website, swanston.com. Look us up there. We've got great information about all our locations. Again, that's Fergus Falls, Minnesota, Alexandria, Minnesota, Minot, North Dakota, and Fargo. In Fargo, if everybody knows where the old Nodak is,
yes,
that we're right across the street. We have a Bobcat 40 feet up in the air. It's on a pole. You can't miss it. And you'll be greeted and you'll be taken care of. And you know what? Even if it's just for a cup of coffee and a minute of BS, we got a great team of guys that are really good at BS and having fun.
Can you test drive one if you stop by?
Absolutely.
Road trip.
Oh, and now the game has changed. And I'm going to add to that road trip because the Bobcat plant in Gwinner, I have a Twitter friend who works down there, and he said if we want to come in for a tour, it's about 2.5 hours, and you can tour the entire facility as they manufacture Bobcats on site.
Oh, wow.
And I would be so
highly
willing.
recommend that one.
You've done the tour, Chris?
I've been on that tour probably a dozen times, and it gets better every time. The robotics that are in there is absolutely amazing. And why robotics in a factory?
Yep.
Well, when you have that much welding and that many components, you want it exact.
Yeah.
And you want it repeatable. You want to do the same thing over and over and over. Human can't do that.
True.
Robotics can.
That would be awesome. I'm going to put that on our to-do list, is going down to Gwinner.
That'd be fun.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, thank you for joining in and listening to what we had going on today. Chris, thank you for coming in studio.
Thanks, Chris.
Much appreciated.
Enjoy your Christmas.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
All right. We will catch up with our sponsors. We'll be back. Check the weather. Last few headlines. Don't go away. Ho, ho, ho. Your Christmas shopping just got easier. WDAY commemorative Steiger Cougar tractor is now available. This is a 132nd size tractor, and you can get it just by calling Lamar's Toy Store at 712-546-4305. Your tractor is only one of 150 produced, and you can display a piece of local history with a Steiger Cougar on your shelf.
Neighbors in the Red River Valley, don't climb on the roof to hang Christmas lights this year. Call Holson Home Automation and Solar today for a free quote on gemstone permanent architectural lighting. With gemstone lights, you can easily change the color and pattern to go with the season, or set your lights to a warm white and enhance the exterior of your home. Don't wait for the snow to fall. Plan your lights this holiday season. Call the team at Holson Home Automation and Solar for a free quote, 218-78-SOLAR, or visit holsonhome.com.
Hi, I'm Kevin Wolf, president of Laney's. Are you considering replacing your furnace this winter? If so, you need to consider Laney's, the only company in town that offers a lifetime guarantee. Our guarantee states that if anything ever goes wrong with your furnace, Laney's will fix it for free. Day or night, no cost to you. That's Laney's legendary lifetime guarantee.
Annual check and service required. Call Laney's today for more details at 237-0543.
It's just great. I began my battle with addiction at a young age, leading me into a life of destruction and homelessness. Discovering I was pregnant left me angry, considering termination, but I knew having this baby would change me deeply. My name is Autumn, and the Perry Center transformed my life. With their support and the help of our donors, me and my baby's basic needs are met, and we have a solid support system.
This is Autumn's story, a journey from despair to hope. To partner with us, visit perrycenter.org. That's perrycenter.org.
This is Mark Wagner at ND Estate Services. I want to thank all the listeners out there and just really wishing you a very Merry Christmas. God bless you. Have a Happy New Year. Encouraging you to give your family the gift of avoiding probate at death, eliminating legal guardianship when you're incapacitated, saving taxes, protecting their inheritance. Find out more at ndestateservices.com, 701-318-0908.
Over 5,000 dogs competed to win the top title and $50,000 grand prize at the 23rd annual AKC National Championship presented by Royal Canin. American Kennel Club's Brandy Munden has more.
The National Championship is the only all-breed dog show organized and presented directly by the American Kennel Club, the nation's oldest and only not-for-profit purebred dog registry showcasing the top canine athletes. This year, a record 5,762 dogs from 50 states, Washington, D.C., and 36 countries competed to be crowned America's national champion.
Don't miss the performance of the year.
While the event took place December 16th and 17th at Orlando's Orange County Convention Center, the broadcast begins on December 31st at 2 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Extensive live coverage of the weekend's events is available on akc.tv. You don't want to miss this.
To learn more, visit akc.org. That's akc.org.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us. It's 1:51 this afternoon. We got another check on the forecast coming up here. A couple more ag topics as well. And if you want to join in on the conversation, ask some questions, comments, 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes phone line. Emails weatherorag@flagfamily.com. And why don't we go, before we take a look at that forecast again, let's hit one of our ag topics. And this one, I was a little confused by it because usually you hear this word and you associate it with cryptocurrency. And I suppose you could mix cryptocurrency and agriculture together, but this is blockchain technology in the beef industry. So,
okay,
what do we got on this? What
All
are
right.
they doing with crypto over there?
Let's talk, well, not necessarily crypto, but let's talk about blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is, and help me if I get this definition wrong, but essentially you want to follow a product from start to finish. Okay, you are using it in a way that it's got traceability everywhere it's been, that type of thing. And often there are NFTs that go with it, non-fungible tokens. A lot of times that's done with artwork, etc. Well, there is actually a beef ranch in Nebraska that experimented with this, where literally they were using the blockchain to follow the calves from birth all the way through processing. So someone could look back and say, I know exactly where this animal came from, how it was raised, produced, etc. And there is, in fact, a way to do an implant on the animal for traceability so that you know where it's always at. Well, reason for that is, one, you have people who, when they buy their food, they really want to know where it comes from. But two, in some instances, that can be helpful with disease prevention. So that's kind of why this experiment was happening. Okay, if we need to track animals that have gotten sick, here's one way to do it. You know through blockchain where they've been. Also, you start to see some things with lenders right now with some of the political climate that we have out there where they want to know that you are doing everything you can to reduce your carbon footprint when raising a crop or raising animals. And this is a way that they can track that and do that. In fact, Rabobank, which is a global financer, has announced that farmers may have to show their carbon intensity score, et cetera, for some of their borrowing. So things are kind of changing, and this was a little bit of an experiment that was being done. This was with the Flying Diamond Ranch in Nebraska.
Interesting.
Very interesting. We got a caller over on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. Again, you want to join in, I got a couple open lines right now, 701-293-9000. We're going to go on over to Greg. Greg, welcome to the show. What's going on today?
Yeah, we got a little homework assignment for Bridgette here. It's a weather-related question. She can, this weekend, she can look up when, remember it was Super Bowl Saturday and Sunday in 1982.
Yep, I remember.
I don't know the weekend, but it was the 49ers and the Bengals, and it was that Saturday, Sunday in Fargo, brutally cold. Take it from me firsthand. It was about 25, 26 below during the daytime, and the wind was about 45 to 50, and they were saying it was 80. They were saying it was 82, 83 below zero wind chill, and if you went anywhere, like I was a young buckaroo, if you went anywhere, you didn't if you couldn't plug your vehicle in, you didn't let it sit for more than about 3 hours without starting it, because
it would freeze like ice.
It was an iceberg. Oh, it was terrible. And I'm thinking it was the third. If you can look back in 82 of January, it was probably the fourth weekend that month. It usually was a little bit earlier than it is now. And I know the 49ers and the Bengals were playing, and there wasn't much else going on that weekend except
just cold.
Watching football, because nobody's car would. It was brutally cold, and you can maybe look into that and look back and see what the high and low in Fargo was that Saturday. The Saturday particularly was brutal because working at this one facility, and somebody parked all the service vehicles that were doing service calls. Somebody parked them outside at 6 a.m. and all of a sudden decided that they had to put them back in at 6 o'clock that night.
Interesting. Well, Greg, we'll take a look into this. We'll take a look and see what the temperature was on that day, and we'll see if we can get it in here by the end of the show. But thanks for calling, Greg. Appreciate it.
You guys know that I'm not necessarily good with sports, so if I have to go look up a Super Bowl game,
weather,
and so if I have to go look up a Super Bowl game, there's a real chance I'm gonna have to figure out how many home runs they scored in that game.
Well, let's take a look at a quick rundown of the forecast, and we're looking at temperatures out there right around 40 degrees across the area. The record's 42 today. I think, boy, it's going to be close. I think we'll fall just short, but we might be able to tie that. And that was set back in 1979. It's going to be breezy today. Southeast winds gusting up to 30 at times. Cloudy tonight. Some fog develops. We'll drop down to a low in the upper 20s to near 30. And as we head into Friday, the winds will be much lighter out of the south-southeast. Highs in the low 40s, mid-40s on Saturday. And then a system that's off the west coast right now, just entering Southern California. As we head into tonight, it will be. And that will be racing northeastward. And as it does, it's going to spread some wintry precip in here as we head into Christmas Eve. Could pick up some minor accumulation on that. The problem is we might mix in some freezing rain with this as well. So if you have any travel plans on Sunday into Monday, please keep up to date on the forecast. I know areas of South Dakota, central South Dakota, into western South Dakota, down into northern Nebraska, central Nebraska, they're going to get hit with much heavier snowfall totals. We're right on the northern end of this, but any travel plans east going into towards the cities, I think you'll be fine. But again, icing could be a problem in Lakes Country, and we might even see icing reach as far north as the FM area as well. So that Sunday, Monday time frame, we'll be keeping an eye on that storm system.
So things could get slippery later this week.
They more than likely will. Yeah.
Does that mean you're leaving for Nebraska now, coming back sometime in March?
Yeah, right. Exactly. No doubt. No doubt. What?
Dean, can't find him. Don't know where he went.
And I got to answer for Greg's question there. Weather on the 23rd and 24th, that's Super Bowl of 1982. On the 23rd, it was 12 degrees for a high, 19 below on that Saturday night. Sunday, the 24th, 7 below zero was the high temperature with an overnight low of 29 below.
Oh, that's cold.
And on the 25th, that would be on Monday of 1982, it was 8 below for a high and 22 below zero.
Ouch.
For a low. Over that time period, it was about 3.5 inches of snow that fell.
And Greg says, you remember that 1982? And Justin goes, yeah, I do. I'm like,
I do.
no,
I was
he
there.
doesn't. He wasn't
I
here.
was there. I watched the Super Bowl, man. It was a great game.
82.
Liar.
You weren't
Great
even
game.
around.
Please.
All right, guys. Well, we got more shenanigans tomorrow. We'll see you then. Jay Thomas Show's coming up next, guest hosted by Tim Flackel.